everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I'm back off being joined once again by Jimmy, Austin, and like always, Fluff.
Yes, sir.
Austin?
You there?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I said hello.
Oh, it was
I didn't hear Austin. Sorry. What up, people?
Don't worry, I didn't hear Austin either. But today's matchup is Starter Deck Broly versus Set 9 Cooler, Red-Blue. Like always, down below, feel free to click them. They're there for a reason. But guys, take it away.
Yeah. Austin, tell us about this Cooler deck that you have played ad nauseum at this point.
It's very defensive. You pretty much play on your opponent's turn. You wait for them to play battle cards, and you respond by, either doing activate battles or arrival. I cannot think of activate battle for the life of me. Oh my gosh! And that's pretty much what it is. You like to play on your opponent's turn and minus cards to mill them, and it's mostly to deny them of resources. You can win by milling, but it only happens probably like 30 to 40% of the time.
Oh, for sure. The Cooler is such a odd deck to play against because it plays so different from a regular mill deck that you don't feel safe putting cards on the field and pressuring them. Because it's going to force you to mill yourself out. But you also don't want to play passive because then they can just turn around and start dumping all of their rivals on you for, little to no energy and blow you out that way. So I decided to play Starter Broly. This deck topped at Worlds over this past weekend. This is our last tournament before Christmas, so I was like, I'm just gonna have some fun. I'm gonna net deck and play something, wildly meta. And it's this deck is a blast to play. It's so much fun. If you don't know what Starter Broly usually does, it usually just rockets up this mono green Broly chain and just blast out your opponent, where this list plays more into a lot of one-drops utilizing the Bardock Unison and plays into hand control very heavily.
Which I want to ask you real quick. You said it's a blast to play, yet you're one of the biggest complainers at a shop when people play hand control.
Yeah, it's just because I like to shit-talk people.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's specifically Nick.
Who's not here to defend himself.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. Nick knows what he does. These early turns for me were a little rough because the deck really relies on having that Unison on board to start its early hand control, where Austin was able to board 2 of the Kunchis, which, if you don't know what that does, it negs a card by 4,000, correct?
Yeah, that also draws one automatically.
And then draws a card, and then you get to draw a card off of your leader by negging with a battle card skill. So essentially, you were just paying 1 for draw 2s, and was getting a fat hand early on, which, if you can get a ton of resources early against most hand control decks, you can kind of ride that wave throughout the rest of the game. So it was really scary seeing you draw this many cards so quickly without, seeing a Unison until this third turn, which I happened to have drawn into 2 of them, as you can see in my energy.
Yeah, hand control with Cooler, in my opinion, and as a deck as a whole is just, as a player too, is just rough to deal with. Because you rely on, on your opponent's turn. When your opponent is taking cards out, you're like, oh, well, I can't react now. It's not like I can do things on my turn. I want to wait.
Exactly. So you also got to play the Deborah there, which you discard them, you get to pay 1, draw 2, and board the card. Luckily, I had drawn into my blue Impulse, so I was able to punish that play, even though what I hit was not all that relevant anymore. They already done what they needed to do. it was still nice just getting those combo resources off of your field.
The what we call Dr. Robotnik, the 1-drop SR Frieza, he's a pretty strong target still, even the 1-drop for late game.
For sure.
And I'm going to point out the tech choices that's going on here. This past weekend was a best of 3. Without giving away what round we're actually doing here, we do have tech options that come and go, especially when you go against hand control or the counter to that.
Which Blue Impulse was a side because nobody's mainboarding Deborah, so we know this was either game 2 or 3. But Blue Impulse was let you know a little secret. It was my only card in my sideboard. So I threw it in.
Like I didn't actually have. Well, I have a card.
Yeah, I was like, we were talking about sideboards. I was like, I didn't even put one together. I just net decked this shit, and I just wanted to play it because it looked fun. And I was like, I got Blue Impulse in my deck box. That'll be my 1-card sideboard. And it was actually relevant in this matchup.
Blue Impulse is such a fun card.
Yeah, the card got like a second breath of life around the time that King Vegeta with Young Invaders was like really popular before it got, rotted and banned into the ground. And I feel like it's kind of like rejuvenated people's thoughts on that card, where originally it was just like oh, that's a cool tech piece, but I would never find a way into my deck. But I felt like it turned out to actually be a great side for this matchup. I kind of wanted to save it for later once the coolers started coming out, so I could get a little bit more value off of it. But seeing all that combo power on the board, I wanted to get rid of that fairly quickly.
Yeah, because after the Kunchis are played, you really just use them for combo power. And the Deborah,
Exactly.
you can use it for 15k swing, but it's just a 15k at that point. It's done its job.
Mm-hmm. So this is another one of my tech options for this list. I was trying to find some like small changes I could make to the list that topped at Worlds. And this was always a card that was on my mind. I don't remember the exact name of this Majin Vegeta, but he's a servant, so he's a 1-drop 15k, and then you can pay 2 for him to board the old 4-drop SR, which is a deflect triple striker, or a servant triple striker. I don't think it has deflect. I could be wrong about that. That will rip 3 markers off of a unison. So he is an absolute monster. 30k triple striker for 4 is nothing to sneeze at, especially when it could kill a unison. And if you hand control enough, they're not going to have the resources to combo out of that servant. And it also has a little bit of synergy with the leader. The leader has an activate main where you can target one of your battle cards, KO it, then KO one of your opponent's battle cards. So once you have that card in rest mode with servant, it's a completely dead card to you, and it's just taking up one of your 2 slots that you have in your battle area due to the limits on the Broly leader, that you could just KO something on the field. So essentially for 4 energy, you're getting a triple strike, possible unison kill, and removal on the opponent's field. And if you have the 1-drop, that will only cost you 2 energy to put on field. So this is kind of like standard array for my matchups with Austin, where we just kind of sit there and look at each other back and forth for a few turns. And I'm like, hey, you got that exploiting weakness in hand? And you're like, I don't know, maybe. I'm like, well, fuck you, I ain't playing a card.
Yeah, it's I also have the Super Saiyan Gohanks SCR Super Saiyan 3-1 in this deck, which, minus 25 ignoring barriers the entire enemy field. And I love that card so much. It's so good and cooler. In my opinion, it is the best SCR for cooler.
Yeah, I agree. That card is pretty nuts just in general, but I feel like red decks have access to other secret rares that usually do better for it. But I was kind of scared of the that secret rare specifically just because it's a unison, because I don't have a good way of dealing with unison swings other than just hard negating where I have pretty decent ways of dealing with battle cards. So I wasn't scared about you negging my field out or milling me out because I can only have 2 battle cards in play anyway, and I try to keep my board clean at the end of every turn using my leader ability. So that wasn't relevant to me. It was more so just it being a unison that can deal damage was the scary part.
Not just that, but during your opponent's turn, I think if you swing with a battle card, you +1, and the -4 is just crazy on that thing.
Yeah, the +1 is you minus. I think it's either 15 or 25k for the swing.
I think
and
it's
then the
-5 because I comboed that before with a Wolfing Fist to kill a secret rare.
Yeah, and then the brain work that -4 gives you +15k, making it a 40k. Then you have a triple strike, and you already have dual attack, so it's just a loaded unison.
And it restands in case you can't kill your opponent. If I recall, I might be wrong on that part.
I think so.
So talk about another thing with this Broly leader that is fantastic. It has a Sparking 7 auto that on swing you will draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. So it really allows you to cycle through the deck very quickly. And against a mill deck, that's probably not the smartest thing. But with that Topo interaction, it allowed me to discard 2 cards, one of them being a secret rare, or not a secret rare, super combo, which was... It did hurt to drop that, but it gave me 2 fresh cards that I would not have seen otherwise, swinging through a Topo like that. But also that auto allows you to dump your hand on, just any swing and then swing with your leader and just draw all those cards back.
The Topo play I did, it was less to counter, more like tempt you to ditch your hand so you draw more, because I wanted to go through your deck and mill stuff out to get your good cards out of there, and it kind of works somewhat okay with sort of hand control decks because you might get a rebrand and that always sucks, but just comes with the territory.
Of course, there's a 8 cards in the deck that interact with the drop area. So Ribriands, you see the Zarbon in there. So having those, being able to fill the drop area up with those tends to be very nice. Even if it does help you in some situations. Also, focus breakthrough on the Topo is huge.
Yeah, I was looking for it earlier in the first Topo I played because I thought you'd had it, and I was like, man, I hope you drop here. I was like, I didn't mill it and didn't use it. No.
With something borrowed from the world's list, it is a one of in the list, but it had overperformed all night. So if I were to play this list again, I would probably bump it up. Or at least make my sideboard a 2-card sideboard, with one of them being Focus Breakthrough.
Since so many cards are like battle card negates, like Topo, like this Oceanus, it just does so good against those.
Oh, for sure.
Actually, I think I was sitting beside you guys in this match, and I remember you going, "Is it discard 4 or is it mill 4?" You're like, yeah, you know what? That's fine.
Or it was warp 4.
Warp 4, yeah.
Was the question. I was like, if I have to warp it, this is going to be where I get unlucky and warp, I don't know how many Ribriands are on the field right now, but it's like, I'll warp all 4 of my damn Ribriands. It's like, okay, great.
Yeah, I wish it was a warp.
Oh, yeah, it would be a little disgusting if you were warping those cards. The card's already disgusting, but more disgusting in that case.
Just wait for it. It's coming.
Oh, I'm certain. It'll be like SS5, Thwarting the Dark Empire, Triple Strike, cost 1. Your opponent has to send you a butthole pick.
If they can't, within 3 seconds, they warp half their deck.
Oh, shit, bro, that's my wallpaper. I'll just show you my wallpaper, bro.
I, for real, thought that was a weird picture of the Grand Canyon.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's a nice compliment.
No.
Oh
After it rained.
Oh, really? I don't think it looks like that.
So looking back at this turn real quick, with 2 life, holy crap.
I was going for the throat here. I'm like, and Jimmy's like, just play them all at once. What the fuck are you doing?
So looking back at this, like, what were you thinking, Jimmy? I mean, you do have 4 open energy.
I felt okay. What I was scared of is that he would continue to pressure on each swing to combo more cards and arrival more stuff. Because I felt pretty okay with the cards within my hand. So while it was a little frightening, I was more so scared of what else was coming.
And I do have a question for Austin here. Like, Cooler's naturally a 20k card. His leader's only 15k. You could have swung with the Bora, though. But you chose to combo it off, having the extra attacks, and then comboing them off. Like, what was the thought process there?
I can't remember how many cards he had in his hand, but I was doing the math in my head, and I was like, okay, I need him. That's what came in clutch there was that secret rare. But that's what messed me up so bad, because my head was like, all right, he can combo out this stuff. He probably has 1 or 2 extra cards in his hand that he can't use, so he only has probably X amount of combo power. So, because I kept track of the cards that were being cycled through, and I was just trying to do just a numbers game, because at that point, like, that's the only opportunity I had where I'm running a certain unison in this deck that I think I'm going to take out, because the Jirens help give me way more aggression support that I need, because they're actively 20k double strike, 20 +1. So
And auto, I think it has a natural auto when your opponent plays a battle card or a unison. It negs it by 10 right off the bat.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
What unison you currently I know you have the Mass Saiyan.
that's so I run 4 of the Black Mass Saiyan Brawl from Another Dimension, but a title, and then I run the SCR, the Gohanks.
Gotcha. So you're just 5 unisons.
Yeah, and then I run the reason I ran the Black Mass Saiyan ones was because with the difference of status card, every time you spirit boost, you -5 a separate time, so it can mill an opponent quite a bit. And it's probably going to be more of a sideboard tech thing than it is, because I feel like Jiren's still stronger. But as you can see there, I couldn't combo out, and that was the game.
I think
he just swung.
Yeah, and I think going back listening over this audio, I think like your last life is all you got. I feel like. Okay, it wasn't this one then.
So, yeah.
But yeah, no. Overall, still like that final push looked kind of scary looking back on it. Like I didn't see that happening while I sit beside you all. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the ape come in clutch there. If I didn't have the ape, it was game over.
Yeah.
I do think the ape is just probably the best secret rare for this list. I think there are better green secret rares, but for Broly, where you have such limited space on the field, the other green secret rares that I would have chose to run had a downside of, if I were to board 2 cards on the field, say a Zarbon or like whatever, I wouldn't be able to utilize their full effects by getting them on the field and getting that value. So just having a secret rare that can trigger from the combo area is huge.
Fair. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's matchup. Keep minders buttons down below and on the screen while Fluff does the outro.
And it's still really cool to see Cooler kind of kicking it after all this time. Especially since it did come out in set 9, I believe it was.
Yep.
So to see it, and then Brawly itself, like all these old decks that are coming out of the pipework, because aggro's not a thing anymore. But anyway, thank you so much. Read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to. And as always, Fluff out.